How about that cigar?
You got to play that video.
Corona Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
All right.
How about that cigar?
Redo. How about that cigar?
False start. That's all right. It happens.
I'm on the other side tonight. I'm all confused.
He's all confused. He's all nervous. It's all good. Guys, welcome to How About That Cigar Live, episode 192. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube. And for those of you listening after the fact on the audio podcast, guys, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. We appreciate it very much. This is episode 192. We are here in the Corona Cigar Studio. And as you can see, my lovely assistant, Justin, is here live well, he's always live in studio, but he's live like
in the flesh, on the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to go on. I'm kind of nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. I promise to be gentle. And you won't feel a thing.
Don't go there, Matt. Not in front of everybody. Come on.
So real quick, we normally talk about a little bit of sports stuff, and I know, Justin's not the biggest sports guy really, but so we, the football season's over. Spring training is underway, which we're very happy about for those of us baseball fans. So thank God spring training is underway. And we, it's early, so we're just excited that baseball's happening again. The Minnesota Wild found a way to drop from number 3 to number 4. We knew that they could do it, that they could not hold on to that number 3 spot. Basically it happened when they lost to Colorado. So cheers to our friends at Cigar Dojo for your just horribly terrible Colorado Avalanche beating our Minnesota Wild. No, they're a great team. We were just very sad to fall to number 4. But it is what it is. And we're looking ahead to the next few days up here in Minnesota.
We're trying to see what's going to go on with this storm that everybody's raving. It's going to be the top 5 biggest snowstorms in history in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to go to TPE on Wednesday morning. So
it's being billed as the snowpocalypse.
Yep.
We're hoping that it's been greatly overblown, because we're supposed to get on a plane Wednesday morning. And we did some scrambling today trying to change travel plans. It just was not in the cards. So we're praying for the storm to shift and go somewhere else so that we can still get on our plane Wednesday morning to go to TPE.
Or at least just give us a little break so the tarmac can get cleared and we can fly out safely.
That's all we ask.
It's all we ask.
That's all we ask. So it's, we're going to see how it goes. But we're glad to be back. We had a week off, Valentine's Day week. We're recovering, starting to get over coronavirus part 2.
Part 2. Me and Matt. We hang out together. We get COVID together. We're COVID brothers now.
We mostly feel better.
I mean,
but
yeah,
we're still learning. We're retraining our taste buds how to taste cigars and beverages.
I do have to say that this house blend from our guest tonight,
there you go,
tastes pretty freaking good right now. So I'll give you guys that. It is tasting well. We're going to be in this to win it tonight, and I don't think I can put a negative taste factor out on this.
We're right on the verge where we're starting to be able to taste things again, so that's exciting. But I say we get on with the show and welcome our guests to episode 191. And on How About That Cigar Live, special guests are brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. They are proud to announce the all-new Acid Cigars Cubariety 3-pack, specifically designed to both broaden the palette of acid cigar enthusiasts and expand awareness of the full Drew Estate product portfolio. The Cubariety 3-packs also present the on-the-go consumers with tremendous value. For the price of 2 Acid Cuba Cubas, purchasers receive 3 cigars in total with a free Undercrown Shade cigar included in the pack. The specially selected cigars inside the Cubariety 3-packs are all Robustos and are packaged packaged inside resealable fresh packs with Boveda humidification pouches to ensure they remain fresh until they are enjoyed. The Acid Cuba Cuba is a bestseller for its smooth and sweet taste and captivating blend. Another one of Drew Estate's most popular cigars, Under Crown Shade, is mellow with expressive flavor, striking the ultimate balance of Nicaraguan tobacco's earthiness and the silky smoothness of Connecticut Shade. With an MSRP of $21.90 per pack, the Acid Cuba Variety packs from Drew Estate will be available nationally beginning in late February at the TPE Trade Show. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and welcome to episode 192 of How About That Cigar Live, Griff and Dave.
What's up?
Cheers, guys.
Good
to the show, gentlemen.
God, the boys are popping off in the chat too already.
It looks like old days already.
Yeah.
Like everybody's in here tonight.
I felt like I wanted to run 10 miles after that intro song.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you guys got.
I was getting amped in the green room.
Oh man,
I saw you shotgunning your bottle of bourbon, Griff.
We're learning.
Yeah.
You know, we got new buttons just about every week. It's like I add new stuff for Justin to click on, and Justin, if one of these days, Justin's going to be like, "I quit. No, if you keep adding buttons, I'm done." So
yeah, we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
You did great, Justin. You did great.
You did great. You did.
Well, hey, we're pumped to be here, guys. Thanks for having us on.
So let's start with Griff. If you would please let us know where you're broadcasting from and what you are smoking and drinking with us.
Broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the United States.
Love it.
Nope, just kidding. Greenville, South. Exactly. Greenville, South Carolina. And Dave's giving me shit because he thinks I'm being held captive in a garage somewhere. I am in a garage. Okay. It's the cleaner side of the garage. And Dave and I are going to both smoke the same thing. We were thinking about smoking House Blend or Navidad, but we are going to smoke a blend that we requested from the one and only Hostos Fernandez from La Isla. Let's just call it GD3 for the sake of it. Okay. And so I have no idea what to expect. I'm expecting it to be quite tasty, but excited to smoke it along with you guys. And I know Justin is got House Blend ripping.
Yeah, sure. Right on. Dave, what are you smoking and drinking?
So I'm smoking same thing, GG3. This is actually fun because neither Griff and I have smoked this yet. So instead of us having to do like a Google Meet when we smoke through samples, we're just going to do it live on the show. But I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, also in my garage, just with the world behind me instead of a white wall. And I am drinking the second whiskey release from Griff and Dave, pick release from Griff and Dave, which is a 95.5 straight rye whiskey, uncut, unfiltered, barrel proof, from our good friend Jared at the Barrel King. This is coming out in December, but we also have to work on a cigar to release with it. So we're just killing birds with one stone here, and drinking and smoking, having a gay old time.
I love it. I love it.
Justin, we do that well.
Justin's smoking the House Blend.
Yep, definitely got the House Blend here tonight. And,
look at that.
Look at that. With a 1919 root beer. As always, that's what we do on the show here.
That is like the house NA beverage here is it's either that or the root beer from local Lift Bridge Brewing Company.
Lift Bridge is great.
They make great beer, but they also make a great root beer.
Spectre is pretty good too. That's got a good one. So yeah.
I'm gonna fire up my cigar in a minute here with the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Toast Cam, but I want to let you guys know I am drinking. This was a store pick from 1010 Washington Liquors here in Minneapolis, Wilderness Trail bourbon. This was a really nice pick. Great price.
I hear glazed donuts about those.
And it is delicious. I don't have a ton left in the bottle. This bottle has been very, very good to me recently. Comes in at 109 proof, so but it's not too hot. It's yummy. I love it. And the rye they had a rye pick as well, which was not as good, but this bourbon is mighty tasty. Nice.
Wilderness Trail puts out some hitters. It's kind of just a up and coming distillery that's putting out some fantastic bourbon.
Yeah. After I tried this bottle, I'm definitely going to seek out some more picks. Just, because you never know. You're going to find one sometimes that's just really going to fall right where your palate needs it to be. So, and this one did for me. So let's, before we get into our questions, I'm going to fire up the Navidad.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was going to fire up the house blend, but I was like, nope, I want to mix it up. So I'm going to fire up the Navidad.
Okay.
Actually, that'll go great with your whiskey pick.
Oh, fantastic. I love that. And I'm going to do that via the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Toast Can.
When lighting your cigar, it's important to pay It's important to be patient, pay close attention to detail, and focus on the tobacco. In the same way, Steve Saka brings those same qualities to the ultra-premium cigars of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust.
You're doing great.
Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust has become known for. From Sombra Mesa to Umbagad, Dunbarton has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, and any occasion. Visit dunbartoncigars.com to learn more.
That was fantastic.
Beautiful
Matt,
job.
That's a hell of a toast, brother, if I've ever seen one.
I had to be, because the camera angle, the camera's upside down, so it's like if I move the cigar, I'm like, oh shit, I moved it the wrong direction.
Beautiful fingernails.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fingernails are not in the greatest shape.
So I got to ask, because my lost interest wants to know if Griff's wearing shorts.
Steve Wood, I am, buddy. Everything's keeping under the table. And,
Wood.
Don't you worry, buddy. Don't you worry.
Oh man. Oh, the cigar right off the light is very nice. I'm gonna take a little sip of bourbon, get the mixture going.
Navidad is such a
fact,
fun cigar.
When you take that band off, you will see at least half of the guys commenting on here's names on the inside of that band.
No way.
Because most of the guys on this chat are literally who have built the Griff and Dave brand and have supported everything we've done. And when we released Navidad, we put I think it was the first 10 orders, because that's all there's room for. First 10 orders, their names on the back of the band.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I love that. Well, and I love the fact that we've got, that you guys have a great following, and that really shows right now in the comments, because we've got a ton of a flurry of activity in the comments right now, and we love that because it really shows the vibrancy of the cigar community, and people actually care and want to learn more and want to just kick back, have a good time, and at the same time maybe learn a little bit about something and find some new products out there that they can get a chance to try. So man, cheers to that. I love it.
Yeah, the comments are blowing up tonight. So
fantastic.
I love that. Love that.
So I want to jump right in, and we'll mix it up as far as who goes first on questions. But we definitely love getting people's origin stories. Finding out how they got into the hobby, how they developed a taste for cigars, and things like that. So, Griff, why don't you start us out and tell us about your first cigar and how that kind of led to the hobby becoming a career.
It's a pretty interesting story. I wish it was something spectacular and very interesting, but it's absolutely not. It started back in college. I went to University of South Alabama with Dave. We were tour guides. Go Jags. We were tour guides together. We were roommates together, and now we're doing this together, which is just amazing. I'll keep the 30-minute story to about 2 minutes. I was not with Dave during my first cigar. Was with a couple of buddies, and we were walking the storm drain under the intramural fields. And word on the street was, you got to go check out these drains. You got to go, like, saying this out loud. I'm like, we're a bunch of idiots. So we find the gated entrance to the storm drains and say, do not enter. We enter, and these storm drains are probably 5 feet tall, 4 or 5 feet tall by maybe 4 or 5 feet. And we get inside the drain, and that's when we light the cigar, which I'm like, that's also probably not the smartest idea because there's no ventilation down there. But I light an acid Cuba Cuba. That was my first cigar.
Nice.
At the time, I loved them. Currently, I do not. And we just started walking down. We started walking down for 10 or 12 minutes, getting this massive box, more drains, pop our head out. We find ourselves in the middle of the intramural field. It's just like this story is so crazy random. I don't know why we were under these soccer fields. I don't know why we were smoking cigar. It's usually you want to be on like a porch or a cabin or on the side of a mountain, but we were in a, probably a sewage drain of some sort. And so that was the story of my first cigar. We then started smoking pipe tobacco. Dave and I would have a pipe on the porch with a cup of coffee, and all of life's decisions would be made currently.
We were 90.
We randomly one day said we were going to drive to Orlando the next day and go to Halloween Horror Nights. So that's what we did. We skipped class, and at 6 a.m. started driving to Orlando and did Halloween Horror Nights for 12 hours and drove right back. So it was a combination of pipe tobacco and, at the time, acid Cubas and for me, and didn't know anything about cigars. Slowly started getting into it. Dave was big into coffee, as he still is now. I had just gotten into coffee this past year, and everything kind of progressed there, which was what, 7-8 years ago, Dave?
Yep.
So as boring as that story is, that's the truth. Under the intramural fields with the acid Cuba with phone flashlights, just looking for stuff. And
honestly, that's not a boring story at all. That is outside of the box. I mean, typically it's like, I went golfing with some college buddies.
Exactly.
Of course, I went to
backwoods or something.
Yeah, or we were fishing.
Puked my guts out.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a Black and Mild when we went fishing or something like that. So that
exactly.
Storm drains and flashlights. That's outside the box. I dig it.
It was fun. Now there's currently a football stadium on top, so I don't know if the drains are still there. It would be fun to go back, but that was kind of the revolution, or the initial cigar kind of journey for myself.
Nice. What about you, Dave?
Griff's is way more like exciting than mine. I literally was scrolling back on my Instagram while Griff was talking, and believe it or not, if this show was yesterday, it would be exactly 11 years since my first cigar, which is kind of crazy. February 19th, 2012, Abo Classic, awesome. Corona Gorda, it looks like, was my first ever cigar. My dad always smoked cigars with like friends whenever we go on vacation on the beach or whatever. He had a cigar. His buddies would come over from time to time to smoke a cigar. And so I just remember growing up being like, man, that always smelled so good. I loved going into the tobacco shops with him, getting like the bubblegum cigar growing up as a kid. And I was like, the day I turn 8, this is back when you could be 18. The day I turn 18, I'm smoking a cigar. So I went into a cigar shop in South Florida, where I'm from, and asked for a recommendation. And the guy was like, do you have an ID? Like, I'm pretty sure, his quote was, I'm sure I have boxers older than you. And so he sold me a single Avo, gave me a cutter and a box of matches, told me what to do. And I went home, sat outside, and smoked my first cigar. And then I don't know that I would say I was hooked from my first cigar, but I tend to go down these rabbit holes and get really, really into things, whether it's coffee or bourbon or cigars. And slowly, I would say, as college approached, I was always the guy that had cigars in my dorm or my apartment, and just started smoking more and more. Found brands like Illusione and Warped that really showed the behind the scenes a little more.
Yeah.
Tatuaje. And I learned about, back then, Casa Fernandez or Aganorsa tobacco, and smoked a Warped Hacienda, crapped my pants, and was like, oh my God, I actually taste something other than smoke in this. And then I'm like, I need to know more. And then I found out multiple brands can make cigars at one factory. I just want anything that's made at this factory with this tobacco. And I just went on a rampage for Aganorsa cigars back in 2015, 2016. And that really started the big, my big journey into cigars, and then worked in cigars 2019 to 2022. And then me and Griff launched Griff and Dave last year.
Nice. So how do you, when you guys, started, like you said, launched Griff and Dave last year, what did those first few conversations look like or sound like when you're like, hey, what should we podcast, brands, all the different things that you guys talk through? How did those conversations come about, and what were some of, you know, the idea processes that went into you guys saying, all right, we're going to jump into this?
Just for the record, I do have a AeroPress trophy, which is a coffee brewing device. If you don't know anything about what an AeroPress is, I placed third. I got hosed. I should have been first. I got third in the Southeast Regionals in 2017. G, do you want to take this?
I was going to push it to you to hear your thoughts.
All right, and Dave can speak for the first time. I can be first. The conversation, I think you would probably assume was more, you know, proper. And we sat down and like, hey, this is what I'm thinking the plan is going to be, but it wasn't.
Never is.
Me and Griff have known each other since college. Fun fact, Griff hated my guts the first probably year that he knew me. I'm a lot more excitable than Griff, and I think I just annoyed the hell out of him. But then he grew to love me, and I him. Griff is always the gentleman. Anyway. Yeah, we both were working at Cigar Club for a little over 2 years. I had left Cigar Club, but didn't want to leave cigars. Loved the industry, loved all the people we met. Me and Griff had both formed an awesome relationship with Hostos at Tabacalera La Isla back when, man, it must have been a few months after he opened the factory that I had the chance to go down there. And anyway, when I tell you, like, Hostos bailed me out of getting out of the Dominican in the peak of COVID, I'm like, the guy bailed me out and got me out of the Dominican in the peak of COVID, potentially saving my marriage. So thank you, Hostos, if you're listening. Anyway, we had this great relationship with him, and Griff knows the ops side and the importing, and, you know, everyone in the industry loves Griff and knows him so well. We were just like, man, what are we like? We want to keep doing cigars together, and had such a fun time with all the guys and gals that you see in this chat, making cigars with them, hanging out with them on a weekly basis, that we didn't want that to die. So one day we were like, what if we just made a cigar for our friends? Like, let's just make enough cigars that we can like sell some to our friends and then have some extra that we can just enjoy and smoke. And then we came up with House Blend. A good friend of ours, Phil Cruzan brand, check him out, did the branding on that cigar and was like, yeah, I'll do it for you guys. Like, would love to. Hostos was like, I'll make 10 cigars if you want, which, if you guys know anything about making cigars at factories, it's like at least a minimum of 5,000.
Yeah.
But Hostos was like, I don't care. I'll put one guy on this project for y'all. Just like, tell me what you need. So we did it. It sold out in like a day. And we were like, oh, okay, I guess. Okay. And so then we started working on Navidad, and we were putting together, right before we released the first one, we were like, all right, let's make this legit, you know, signed our papers, Griff and Dave Ventures Incorporated. We're a large holding company in South Carolina.
Very large.
And very massive, high revenue yields every year.
Millions.
And we're like, let's do it. And I mean, Griff will say the same thing, but obviously it's everyone that buys our cigars, but Hostos doesn't have to make cigars for us. And the people that print our bands here in Cincinnati don't have to print our bands. And the people that import our cigars don't have to import them. And tobacco farmers that sell to Hostos to make our cigars. The list goes on of like why we shouldn't be able to do this. So when we had the opportunity to, knowing how difficult it is to like etch your name into the cigar industry, that is a bloodline, we were like, all right, we're doing this. And here we are.
That was a lot better than what I was going to say.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Well, we want you to fill in the gaps and color the picture for us, Griff.
I mean, there's not much more to fill in. I mean, it's every single Milo Sintra, Steve Wood, Joey Yoshizumi, Jason Pohl, Sam Hopkins. I mean, we to an extent talk to these guys every single day, whether it be them commenting on Instagram or liking our story or buying, you know, whatever the case may be. So Dave's first comment of making cigars for friends was like, that's all we really want to do. And I personally, humbly am saying House Blend and Navidad turned out flawless. Navidad was a very fun cigar. We wanted to basically capture Christmas in a cigar, if you will, and be out there with that. So the branding you see on the cigar is obviously, you know, Christmas-like.
And I have to say about Navidad,
dude,
the construction. I got a bone to pick with the construction, because
it dips in that one area by a millimeter.
Bastards. There's that one tiny little spot where it's like 2 degrees off.
Javier.
No, it's beautiful. And
but even, to your point, it's like Dave and I are currently smoking a sample that we had Hostos blend for us, and it's the same tight white ash, and it'll probably go for another inch or so. But yeah, to Dave's point, that was the conception of Griff and Dave, and we absolutely love what we're doing, and he and I speak every single day, which is unbelievable.
We have for probably 4 years.
And we've got a great relationship and a great small but mighty following, and we're forever grateful for everybody.
So,
and on the record, real quick, because you're smoking Navidad and we're both smoking a Maduro sample, Nick Melillo from Foundation is like the godfather of broadleaf, but I'll be damned if Hostos is not the godfather of San Andres. What this guy can do with the San Andres wrapper, the way that he has his own process with it that I won't say because I don't know if he'd be cool with me saying it, but the way that he can create blends around that wrapper and select that wrapper is better than anyone that I've ever met in cigars. It's every time he sends us the San Andres sample, we're like, Hostos, the hell did you do to this thing?
I love it, and I love the. It's not going to show up on our camera, but those who have smoked it know the artwork on this band is so fun because it's like ugly Christmas sweater kind of.
Yes.
And I love that.
Exactly.
And then just in general, like what led you guys down your road of doing like a podcast, IG Live, etc., all that stuff when you guys got into that? Did it start at Cigar Club? Was when I remember that. FA4, Fridays at 4. That's where most of the people in the chat room are. That's kind of what got me into cigars when I first got into them a couple of years ago, was with you guys and watching that every Friday. We were on there. It's like, that was the fun, the camaraderie. It was when you weren't at a cigar shop, you were able to get the same experience just with you guys through social media. And that's kind of what drew me to you guys' channel and whatnot. And then got me into Cigar Club. And that's kind of, like I said earlier, still have the Bible going to church.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, there it is right there. So how did you guys get in all that? And where's that gone? And where are you guys planning going in the future with it?
The future question is a really interesting piece of it. Okay. We've got a lot of exciting projects coming up this year that we're beyond excited. It's like if we could release a cigar every week, that would be amazing. Obviously that's not going to happen, but back in the Cigar Club days when Dave was there, it was Fridays at 4. It was just more or less a conversation, and obviously booze was involved, but we're not the experts by any means, but we gave our opinions, we gave our thoughts on the cigars that we're smoking, and we had fun with it. We did palate cleansers and bourbon blinds, etc. Which, even off camera, we're still doing that. Dave and I smoked the samples together when we received them from Hostos. Obviously, we probably should start recording some of that because it's the same. It's the same banter. It's the same back and forth. He's always it could be 4 a.m. and he's chipper as a clam, and I'm not so much, but it's the same vibe. And so he and I have discussed, obviously, having a Griff and Dave podcast per se. I think it really boils down to just a time commitment. Obviously, we both have full-time jobs outside of this, and he's got 2 kids. I have 0 kids. It's just a time thing. Making content, you guys know, it
might be harder than making cigars.
Yeah, with the editing and the preparation and the scheduling of the guests, it takes some serious work. So we're on the social media side of things, Dave is kind of that guy. He is Instagram fiend. He's an Instagram freak. I'm more of the operations guy. There's some comments that people were, saying I'm waiting for samples and from Dave, and that is exactly right. I have samples myself at Dave's house, and he does not ship them. So more or less, it's kind of morphed into me being the fulfillment and packaging and operations and logistics guy. We obviously discuss all the names together and the kind of the design and the identity, if you will, together. But we obviously have our own roles, and it's just, I don't know, you know, we work very, very well together. Obviously we're 50-50 in this, and what's on the horizon, it's just
Griff's
so fun.
Griff's 51. That's how we got the name first, but
yeah.
Well, and one of the pieces that I enjoy, and I know a lot of cigar people enjoy, is pairing spirits with cigars. And I think it can sometimes be, I mean, as fun as picking out the cigars can be and finding new blends that you like at different cigar shops, bourbons or ryes or rums can sometimes even be more of a, well, it could definitely be more of a challenge as far as finding, you know, maybe rare stuff. I think rare whiskeys are even harder to find than rare cigars, and definitely more expensive. But how did each of you guys get started with, you know, the first time, let's say, even just when you first started with whiskey, and then when you first had a cigar and whiskey together and said, man, this I could do this for like my whole life. This is great.
Have you ever had a cigar and whiskey together? That's a really easy answer.
Yeah, that's very true.
And you know, we have this Griff and Dave pick coming out in April with our new cigar 1202. And I mean, for the record, we don't make the whiskey. We don't do any of the hard part. They present us, and by they, I have the bottle here. This is actually going to be our first release that we're doing with Jared over at the Barrel King. 6.5-year MGP, finished in Stag Junior and Willet Family Estate barrels. It's uncut, unfilled. It's just the most insane, longest finishing whiskey I have ever tasted. So it was really easy when we were picking them, because it's like, yeah, this one, right? Like nobody thinks any of the other ones are even close. That's about our role in the whiskey.
Yeah.
But I think I feel the same way about coffee, about wine. When I'm smoking a cigar with it, everything gets better. Not all the time, but like when it's right, you're just like, I mean,
oh yeah,
this whiskey tastes better and the cigar tastes better than they do by themselves. And so, honestly, Griff and Jared had a great relationship from the Barrel King, and it was just another one of those things where like, hey, wouldn't it be awesome if we did a barrel pick? It's like, yeah, that would be awesome. Is that possible? Griff's like, I don't know. Let's ask Jared. And we asked Jared from Subway, and he was like, I mean, if I can come over, anything's possible. And he's like, yeah, guys, I'd love to do it. But would you do a cigar for it, and we can like release it together? And so we were like, yeah, actually, I think we have the perfect one. I don't know when we actually had the first conversation about the cigar 1202 that's coming out with Hostos, but well over a year ago.
Okay.
And now the cigar it's like 18 or 19 months old post roll. And he didn't have a ton of them, but he had enough for what we needed them for, because it was something we were doing as like a sample project back then for the future of Griff and Dave. And this thing is a powerhouse, but aged. So it's like it's not overpowering.
Yeah.
And we sent it to Jared, and we're like, hey, here's the cigar we think will work with almost everything you have in a barrel, but like just confirm for us. And he's like, yeah, I can do anything, because there's nothing too high proof or nothing too bold that will outshine the cigar. And he absolutely nailed it. We just got the awesome opportunity of also tasting that and putting our stamp on it. And a couple of the guys in this chat were also part of that pick.
Nice.
Which kind of goes back to, again, we're having a good time, and we want everyone that's a part of what we're doing to have a good time with us as well. So yeah, the whiskey I don't know anything about distilling whiskey. I don't honestly want to. And we definitely couldn't have our own whiskey business. I think the startup cost for a whiskey company is like 20 mil.
Yeah. You know how to drink it. That's what matters.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an incredible bourbon. And I don't know. I was telling you guys prior to this, it's like 1202 is well, yeah, technically
it's a bourbon.
1202 is obviously an incredible cigar. I'm very excited for people to get it, people to smoke it, and hearing feedback. But the bourbon is just, it's another level. It is another level. And with the cigar itself, we were going through the blind tasting, and I think Jared sent us maybe 4 or 5 blends. I don't remember. After that, it was a downward spiral for me. I'm like, but going into that, I'm like, D, we're gonna pick the most expensive freaking blend here.
And we did.
Sure enough, we did. And this is a blend he's never done before. So he's super excited. We're probably more excited. And now we just need to wait for the first week of April to come. But
yeah, the waiting
exactly.
Yeah, now, exactly. Is this a bourbon? Because I've had some experiences in the past, because I'm 99% of the time drink it neat. Every once in a while, I'll put an ice cube in there, and because it really changes, for me at least, the temperature really changes things. And there's actually a couple bourbons that I've had in the past that I didn't love neat, but on a big, on a big fat ice cube, it actually kind of works.
Opens up. Yeah.
Have you, as far as this whiskey that you guys are putting out, is this something that is going to work for the neat drinker and the rocks drinker alike?
Yes.
Yeah. I personally think so.
Do you disagree, G?
No. I personally think so. I didn't. I'm probably 90% neat, 10% on the rocks. And when it's on the rocks, I don't know why I'm putting an ice cube in it, but I am.
Same.
It's the first so 4 weird. Neat ones.
Yeah. So neat, incredible on the rocks, opens up, dilutes it a hair. It's 119 proof, if I'm not mistaken. So it is on the higher end of proof points, but Dave and I both like very complex, high proof, long finish. I mean, that's the definition of what this release is going to be.
Better than ice, I think, is like a little bit of water, and I mean like a few drops.
That's typically,
and you have, and it's incredible. It's like a different bourbon. You proof it down to like, I don't know what a couple drops does, maybe 110 instead of 119, or somewhere still north of 100. And you get way more complexities. You're tasting more because you're not hit with as much of that like syrupy, uncut blast. The finish is not as long, but with water, it's great.
Syrupy, that's a good word, because I'm a big texture guy when it comes to cigars and whiskeys. I'm a big texture guy. If I get a cigar where the mouthfeel is really thin and the smoke is kind of wispy, it doesn't really do much for me. And the same is true with whiskeys. If it's got a really thin, watery consistency and it doesn't coat my palate, I tend to not go back to it. So are you guys really into textures like that as well when you are both blending, picking out blends for cigars and picking out barrel picks?
I am at, but Griff makes fun of me whenever I say mouthfeel, so I can't really say it.
Yeah, Dave's all about how it feels. He loves how it feels in his mouth. So, it's funny because we've got very, very similar palates when it comes to both bourbon and cigars. I would probably say, honestly, bourbon more so than cigars, which is weird to say.
We have the same coffee subscription now too, because we have the same coffee palate.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn it! Now you just threw off my.
Sorry, buddy. Mouthfeel.
Texture, mouthfeel, viscosity.
Feels good in the mouth.
Feels good in my mouth. Yeah.
But so when we're smoking through blends together, we instantly know if this is going to be. I mean, and I'm not diminishing, the quality of the cigar, or that it's a bad cigar by any means. It's just not the cigar for us. So we're always on the same page with, this isn't for us, this could be something, and we should figure out what it could be. And it's the same on the bourbon side. I mean, we both have probably larger collections of bourbon than we should, and I don't know how we got away with it, but we have. But we tend to go back to the same bourbons kind of over and over. It's, just say out of like 100 bottles, we go to like the 5 that we just love.
Yeah.
So Joey, I still can't believe Griff likes milk with his cigars. That was another podcast that just about made me throw up. I think the question was like, does milk go with cigars? And so obviously we had to try it, and it does not. So
it does not.
I was thinking it would, though. I was smoking. I think I was smoking the Rodriguez 84 Maduro, chocolatey and coffee like Nespresso, deep rich notes, and I was like, oh, this could be like maybe like a chocolate milk thing, and it absolutely was not. But
no,
it was horrible.
We did do a eggnog pairing. And with the right cigar, it's actually really nice. With the wrong cigar,
have a chance.
It's got to be a very bold cigar, because eggnog basically coats your entire palate. So if it's just like a mild Connecticut, it's not going to work.
So that also exclusively drink light beer, just for the record.
Yeah,
true.
No, literally, like the only thing we're not snobs about is beer. Like, give me a Bud Light and send me on my way.
That was the thing. Also, like House Blend was released kind of the latter half of the summer last year. You're kind of just getting into, for us, you're just getting into bourbon season, coming out of beer or tequila, getting into higher proof bourbons because it's getting cold. So it is a lighter Habano, if you will. When you get into the Navidad, you can drink, the 100 proof, 110, 115 proof bourbon. So obviously there's ups and downs of, is this going to be more a full-bodied cigar? Is this going to be more of a, medium Habano, if you will? So with 1202, it is a full flavor. I wouldn't necessarily define it as a full-bodied cigar, probably medium plus at max. But it pairs beautifully with the 119 proof. So they both, talk to each other in that sense.
And with
it's about to kill me.
With the 1202, somebody was asking, can you guys say what the wrapper is on that yet?
Yeah, it's a Habano 2000 Rosada shade. We've used the Habano 2000 on House Blend.
Okay.
But this cigar actually, even though it's coming out after, predates the blending of House Blend. And Hostos had these January to December. Hostos had these darker, they weren't Maduros, but they were kind of red, and we were like, oh, what is this? And it was super oily. He's like, it's just a Rosada shade of the Habano 2000. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, what do you mean just? This is if this tastes anything like what it looks like, just put this on a cigar right now. I don't grab a blend from in there, rip the wrapper off, and put this on. We have to try this. And it adds so much of that slickness is the word I use for that wrapper. Yeah. It gives you that oily, heavy mouthfeel. I think that also makes it kind of tricky to blend with, because a lot of times something me and Griff talk about all the time. The number one cigar phrasing that we agree on is we love a clean cigar. We don't like any cigar that has super long finish or leaves you with more of that heavy, smoky palate. Yeah. And that was our biggest fear using this wrapper. And Hostos in his infinite wisdom is well, we just counter it with Katui binder, and we do this and that. We're like, oh yeah, that's what we were gonna say, but for sure, that would be awesome.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was totally gonna say that.
Right.
And so there is it's a blend, a multi-country blend. So there is some Nica in there, but it relies primarily on Dominican tobaccos. Yeah. And the reason is because of how dense and intense the wrapper is. Mm-hmm. Is if we added any of that Nicaraguan, especially anything from Esteli that's more power, more strength, it was too much. And you're please tell me I don't have to keep smoking this. So anyway, it's predominantly Dominican, and it's got that Rosada shade wrapper, and it's awesome.
I love it.
I believe that, Sam.
And then with you mentioned Hostos a lot too, and Tabacalera La Isla. So what led you guys to decide on that particular blender and factoring that partnership? And what did that look like? Where did it start? Is that just in general?
Nobody else would make cigars for us. G, do you want to take this? I've been talking.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. What also, I'm lingering. Why am I going to kill you?
Well, we were talking about bourbons that we always go back to. Never mind, false alarm. I thought I secured a EH barrel proof, but I didn't.
Oh, damn it! I think it's a combination of things. I mean, in theory, it should be Griff, Dave, and Hostos, because his willingness, his excitement. He's so open. He wants us to grow. He wants to provide the best samples and the best blends he can possibly provide us. We're just, we're extremely close. We talk literally every single day. Probably 50-50 personal life versus up and coming releases or discussing prior blends or samples. He's been just one of the most open figureheads and supporters and role models.
Figurehead. That's a hell of a word, buddy.
I know. Don't tell him I said that, but he's just been, in a nutshell, he's just been so supportive, and it's hard to go with anybody else at the end of the day. I mean,
yeah,
he's providing us phenomenal blends. He's accessible. He wants to see us grow, and he's just a solid dude.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to smoke a blend from him that doesn't perform flawlessly, even if you don't like the profile, or you're like flavor is fine, not for me. Like, you're not gonna have a problem with the construction.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And he grew up in factories, you know, he's like his uncles, whoever from Quesada, and so he like literally grew up at rolling tables, like watching people critique cigars and all that. So his quality control is like, you go in his factory, you just watch him toss cigars. He'll walk up to a table, nope. I'm like, oh, just put those in a bag for me. Do not throw those away.
I'm still in
I can deal with the burn issue. Like,
yeah. Oh, it's got a little tiny color splotch, like a 1/16 of an inch circle color splotch.
Yeah,
I would smoke that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So you guys talked a little bit, you know, that you've got some a bunch of irons in the fire for this year. As we look kind of broader than just this year, I mean, what is it that you guys want this to turn into? Do you guys desire like a national brand that's carried in, you know, multiple brick and mortar shops? What are like long-term like hopes and dreams that you have?
Wow.
It's funny. We just had this conversation a couple weeks ago. Are we going to go wholesale brick and mortar? Are we going to stay direct to consumer? I think we're aligned on this, G. So I'm going to say it, then you can disagree. We definitely want to stay primarily direct to consumer, meaning releases are on our website.
Yeah.
This is where you buy them. It helps us keep our costs to the end consumer lower. It allows us to use better tobaccos that we want to use and not have to worry about. I mean, by the time you bring a cigar across the border, I don't know how anybody makes money as a small brand. It's really difficult, and so this allows us to continue to make more cigars. And we have a short list. It's about 20 online retailers and brick and mortars that we want our cigars to be in. And when we hit those, we're good. And we just want to keep making cigars that people can buy online. But you will be, it's span across about those 20, or probably span across 10 or 11 states.
Yeah.
And that'll be where you could walk inside and grab a Griff and Dave cigar. Never say never. If more people wanted to carry them, we wouldn't say no. It would just be more difficult. But that's where we see this going, is how can we like make more cigars, get them out to people faster. And we like, you know, sometimes we have a really serious release, and sometimes we have one that's like made for the golf cart, and you want to have fun and smoke Griff and Dave cigars. So that allows us to be more flexible, to be online stuff. So we're working on our first ever regular production cigar that kicked off last week.
Oh,
that's our big goal.
Griff
refuses to let me say it, but it's probably 2024. And there's going to be one massive surprise as part of that release that would probably be the biggest, you know, validating and dream come true kind of thing for both me and Griff if it goes through.
That's very cool. I love it. You know, it's cool to see, and you guys have definitely you have fans, and that's it's very gratifying. You know, I know it has to be for you guys to just see people who actually, you know, first of all, they find you because they engage with you. They like what you have to say. They can laugh along with you. They can learn a little bit from you. And then the next thing you know, they're following what you're doing. They're enjoying the products that you're putting out, and it's got to be very gratifying. So you know, cheers to you guys, because I think it's a great thing you're doing.
Thank you. We'll have to pay them all after this, so don't worry.
We already did.
So, Justin, I have a question for you.
What?
Is it time?
It might be time.
Are you sure?
I don't. Are you guys ready?
I don't know what you're about to do, but I'm ready for it.
It's time.
It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
Honest Dave here from Smoke Inn Cigars. It is that time of year again, the Great Smoke 2023 Mardi Gras Madness. Whether you're coming down live or going to be enjoying the event from the comfort of your own home, your ticket price includes this epic package. It's one of our greatest Great Smoke packages in the history of this event. Over $400 worth of product and great swag for the low cost of $165. Do not hesitate. Tickets are selling this year faster than ever. Go to www.thegreatsmoke.com and get your live general admission ticket, your virtual ticket if you're going to enjoy from home, and tickets for either the dinner or the brunch. Epic time. We can't wait to see you all there. The Great Smoke 2023. Mardi Gras Madness.
All right.
We lost Griff.
We lost Griff.
Probably had to pee.
That's right. Everybody needs a bathroom break sometimes.
He's back.
I was just checking the tire pressure.
Just checking it. Yeah, you got to do that sometimes. Can't be too careful. So this is episode 192, and Garrett is in the comments with us. Garrett always does Numero de los Muertos, but he was kind enough to send me one to do here on the show. So and I know I quickly talked to you guys through this, but basically I'm going to give a number. And you guys and Justin, along with our viewers, you guys can leave guesses in the comments, are going to play 20 questions to figure out what caused these people to die. The number this week is 3.
What?
Oh, God.
It's a very typically these numbers are much. So this is 3 people per year on average die from this.
Oh, I see.
Only 3, my God.
And you guys have to guess. And it can be 20 questions, yes or no questions, to try to break down instead of just going straight for the guess, you know.
I mean, my mind's going in some bad places.
So
yeah, it typically does for all our viewers. Garrett says
only 3.
Garrett says only 3 ever.
Okay. Geez,
so that makes it even tougher. So 3 people are documented to have died from this,
and it's not Niagara Falls.
And it's not Niagara Falls. That's an inside joke. Niagara Falls.
Yeah, well, this just went dark.
It did. This is the dark segment.
And Jason, it's not autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah,
so you know,
we've already. That's Skip Martin's favorite guess, and we've already done that one.
Ice fishing. That's why Garrett Robinson isn't here tonight.
It's got to be way more than ice fishing.
It's not ice fishing.
Is it on land or water?
Land.
Land. Okay.
Ooh, I mean, I suppose it could be on the water, but it's pretty much on the land.
Okay. It's not.
Does it have anything to do with height? With like heights?
Nope,
heights?
Nothing to do with heights.
It's not staring at Griff's knees.
It is not staring at Griff's knees.
Okay. Sorry.
It is not suffocating on an ice cube.
Okay.
Good guess.
Does it involve hospitalization?
Yes, because I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
This sends 1,300 people to the ER every year.
Oh,
1,300 people to the ER every year. That was a damn good question about me.
Drinking out of
buddy. Hey, great question. Does
choking on boba
people per year and 3 only have died?
You're choking on boba? That's no lie, Josh.
Is it accident or illness? That's a good question.
We're gonna go with I mean not illness, so I guess accident is closest.
Okay.
Oh wow.
We'll say unintentional.
Unintentional death. Okay. But 1,300 people end up in the hospital every year from it. Only 3 have ever died.
Yes.
Is there any sexual relation to how this happens?
No.
Okay, good. We can
Sorry to
steer away
disappoint.
from that one. No, you're not at all. I didn't want to have to go down that rabbit hole.
putting the lit end of a cigar in your mouth by accident.
Wait, you can't do that?
Great guess, but no.
Good guess, though, Steve. Does it involve a vehicle?
Ooh.
Great question. No.
Another one, huh?
Oh.
Choking on erasers.
Ooh, nope, not choking on erasers.
Okay.
How many questions are we at now, by the way?
I'm gonna say 11.
Okay.
We'll keep going until we get it.
We'll just keep going until I can try to give more hints if we get really stuck.
How about peeing on an electric fence?
No, not peeing on. Great guess, Skip. Not peeing on an electric fence. Not shaving. I think.
Did we already say water is not involved?
Water is not involved.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this in a specific geographical location?
No.
No. So this is
Great
worldwide.
question.
3 people died.
I would say it could be worldwide, but most likely we can set this in the United States or North America. Most likely.
Not being able to poop?
Not being
Probably
able to
more. That's probably higher than 3.
Ooh, yeah, I'm thinking that unfortunately might be higher than 3 people a year or 3 people ever.
Matt Bennett.
I mean, this has got to be like a.
Sometimes it's dark.
Like a butterfly flies in your eye. And...
That is sometimes it's dark and you put the wrong thing in your
noggin.
That is such a truth statement, Matt.
Truth bombs.
Gobstoppers.
Not gobstoppers.
And Garrett says it's in the U.S. Maybe.
Garrett's
so
okay.
We're going to go with the U.S. Okay.
Hey, Allison, sweetie, how are you?
It's only in the
See
US.
you.
Is it specifically in Florida?
Usually
that doesn't help at all.
yeah, Florida, all bets are off. If the headline reads "A Florida Man," all bets are off.
Does it involve eating something, or is it food related?
It
this is breaking news.
Okay. Hold on. Sound the alarm. Sound the Drew Estate alarm.
Okay, now we're really honing in on things, folks.
Okay. Swallowing a bee on your motorcycle.
No.
Damn.
But I like
that call, Steve.
Yeah.
That's going to go in our list of future numero de los muertos.
Death by Lego.
Not Lego.
Okay. Is it a toy?
It is food.
Food. Okay.
Oh,
well, it is food.
It's
my mind is going to beef jerky.
Ooh.
It comes.
I'm not getting an answer out of that one.
It's in the presence of food.
Okay. Eating is not
ingesting of food,
not
but
eating
not necessarily the food itself.
Eating lionfish.
I'm giving way too many hints right now. But
drinking too much water. No.
Yeah, because that's water. That's liquid.
Yeah. I like the lionfish though.
Yeah, the lionfish thing.
That'll kill you.
Lionfish improperly.
I'll say that it's something that is ingested while eating food that isn't necessarily
swallowing your tongue.
What?
No.
Okay.
What
about
what?
Swallowing a piece of silverware.
Not hot dog.
Too much salt.
Not too much salt. Not tapeworm. Not salmonella.
Okay.
Not getting stabbed with a fork. Okay. They're coming hot and heavy. I mean, the guesses are just like boom, 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 boom.
Your utensil.
Not eating your utensil. Eating live squid. No.
Okay.
Oh, what about choking on your tooth?
No.
Tooth breaks loose. You bit into. Okay.
No. So it is. It's something that is ingested unintentionally while eating food.
Huh.
Eating tinfoil. No.
No. Okay.
Too much.
Ooh, wow, that's a good one.
No.
Swallowing
Chinese mustard.
Piece of a plate. No.
These are some good guesses.
Eating the remnants of a Chinese spy balloon.
Oh man.
Really, we're close.
So
3 people ever. This has got to be something crazy rare.
Oysters.
So I'll give another hint. So we already said it's ingesting something unintentionally along with the food that you're eating.
Bones?
Not choking on bones.
But brings 1,300 people per year.
The food in virtually every one of these cases, the food is cooked outdoors.
A skewer.
No.
That was a bad guess, buddy.
What do you mean, dude? I've been hyping you up, and I send a skewer in, and you decline me.
Allison, get your head out of the gutter.
Oh, golly,
choking
Allison.
on a boner. Nope, not choking on a boner.
Okay.
Is that mostly done outside?
Is it a certain kind of food?
We have a correct guess.
Where?
Jason Pohl.
Jason Pohl.
Grill brush
Grill brush
bristle.
Holy cow!
Oh.
So when you clean off your grill,
Jason
Yep.
Pohl.
the little stainless steel bristles on that brush break off, and they stick to the grill grate, and then they stick to the food, and you ingest those.
Ooh.
And then
That's why about 3 or 4 years ago I stopped using.
We use wooden ones only.
Yep.
Yeah, I use the wooden plank looking thing now.
Yep.
It doesn't work as well, but I don't care. I'd rather not die.
Right. So 1,300
That's
people
crazy.
a year.
Yeah, so Garrett says 1,300 people a year go to the ER from this.
Wow.
But
wow, I've heard this before.
there's only 3 documented cases of death.
Huh.
Well, that's encouraging.
Well, Jason, you
That's
win
Griff
a
life.
gift from me that I have to ship to you.
Is that a promise?
You're never getting.
I promise.
That is crazy. What's the craziest like factoid on this episode? Or
On
this segment? What really
I
blew your mind?
I don't remember what the number was, but this was one of them early on that Garrett did was when people are trying to get something out of a, you put money in a vending machine and the chips get stuck and they start rocking the vending machine and it falls over on them and kills them.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I don't remember.
All
what the
for a
number was,
Twinkie?
but
Yeah.
all over a Twinkie.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. So that's it's ironically, since the beginning of the podcast, this has been the most popular segment.
I see why.
Everybody goes and it's weird because it's morbid and kind of sick. But I think people who are our people are also a little bit morbid and sick, and that means that's from the heart. That means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot to be learned as well.
There is a lot. Yeah, we can't really do the whole shooting star, the more you know thing, because that's copywritten. But we really do try to raise awareness here on How About That Cigar.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for doing your part. Okay.
Yeah. No problem. Exactly. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, let's jump into the lightning round. The lightning round brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and the American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 112-year-old El Reloj cigar factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or their visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right. So we're going to go backwards. We're going to start and Dave on this first question.
Come on.
So if you could hear the
call my
thoughts
cigar
of one living person for 10 minutes, who would it be and why?
Oh my God. Holy crap.
No pressure.
And the camera's on me. If I could hear the thoughts of I hate this.
There's no wrong answers.
Mike Tomlin, go Steelers.
Wow. So
Don't blink. Cut your eyelids off. The standard is the standard.
Ooh, I do like Mike Tomlin a lot. So you're not a Bengals fan?
No. We just moved to Cincinnati a couple of years ago.
Okay, so you're not born and raised. Okay.
It took a Steelers fan moving here to give them some hope in winning championships.
All right, Griff, same question. If you could hear the thoughts of one living person for 10 minutes.
I'm not a big fan of this whole full screen thing. I'm just kidding. Not. I don't know my history too well, but I'd have to go with like some type of president, and I don't want to say a particular president because I could start a whole riot. But for the sake of the conversation, George Washington.
Okay.
Just to get his thoughts on this whole presidency thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I hear you.
Like, what was it really like back then? I was also going to say Hitler, but that would also be very weird. But I find the Holocaust very interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you know what I mean? It's very dark, but that would also be quite fascinating, I think.
Yeah. All right. So next question, Griff, you're going to go first. If you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
The whole full screen thing again. What would my there's a pretty good song, although it doesn't qualify for getting in a fight, but I've been jamming into it lately.
Sometimes the soft
I Believe by the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, that's I like that.
I like it.
No, I like because I think sometimes it's funnier.
You never know.
It's a good song.
When you've got a song that is not hardcore and not heavy to be like a fight, because some of the best fight scenes in movies have been like to this soft, lighthearted love song kind of music. See,
this song bumps. If you're on a road trip or you're just driving, I Believe, baby.
I love it. Dave, what about you?
Hey, don't hate on the Jonas Brothers, Sam.
No, I'm going with me and G's all-time favorite, Cool Kids, Echo Smith.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Wow. Many road trips with that song.
Outside of the box. I like that.
Which is like a passive way of like attacking the bully on the other side of you that you have to get in a fight with.
Love it.
I will say those are great answers from both of us. This is very intense. I'm a little nervous, to be honest.
So
should we hit him with the big one, or you want to go to that?
I think we got to go straight to the zombie apocalypse question.
I'm going to attempt to be Garrett tonight. So, zombie apocalypse is coming. Zombies are everywhere, right? You got to pick 3 industry people to be on your zombie apocalypse fighting squad. Who would you pick and why? Griff.
Matt Booth, Steve Saka. Ranier Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Right. That's 3. That's 4. I mean, I held up 4
fantastic answers.
Lorenzo is just the absolute goat, and his voice I could listen to all day.
All day.
So that would calm me. That would calm me down, but also scare people. Steve Saka is just a monster in himself.
Yes.
I love his cigars.
You do need to slow down.
And Matt Booth would not only provide the comedy and the humor. Well, that's all he would provide is the comedy and the humor.
The
guns.
And
he's got guns.
Yes.
When he and I have calls and conversations, I just write down statements of what he said. And the last call, just for the quick reference, the last call we had together, I wrote down these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. The last 5 minutes of our phone call: techno hooker, griffadelic, fecal sample, pepper channel, and Dead Sea Scroll.
Okay.
He used all 5 of those words in the last 5 minutes of our phone call, and it was
all right. Techno hooker and griffadelic are 2 of my favorite new words.
I liked fecal sample. I mean, it's just, this guy's crazy. So those would be my 3.
Garrett called you out. He said you left out your partner there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true.
He's already dead.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, you assume the other one has died already.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarity.
And you just have to outrun stock, is what Jason says.
All right, Dave, who's your 3 picks from the cigar industry?
Pete Johnson, because he's actually huge in real life, and Jackton has tattoos. I was going to say Ranier because he is the Cuban. He's the Cuban. He's like the Cuban mafia guy. Like his voice, you're like, all right, whatever this guy wants, we make it happen.
Yeah.
And Griff Howie.
Wow.
Those are my 3 before Garrett spoke.
I can't provide much, whatever the word I'm looking for. Yes. but I'd have your back.
Well, just remember, you don't have to outrun the zombies. You just have to outrun the guy that you're with.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like Techno Hooker.
That's a great question.
New cigar name there.
Yeah, if you could outrun, you just have to outrun the Techno Hooker. And they're in those really tall heels, and it's pretty easy to outrun.
God, crazy.
All right, let's get into notable smokable this week, and always notable smokable. Brought to us by Luciano Cigars. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So, guys, each week we name a cigar on the show that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that maybe we tried for the first time in a long time, or it could be a cigar that's brand new to the market that we tried for the first time ever. So, Dave, let's start with you. What was something you smoked recently that really stood out to you?
Change
No Doubter.
Don't say the same one I'm going to do.
No Doubter. No Doubter. This is my top 3. It's going in my top 3 all time ever. Is the 2022 Warped Lirio Rojo. That's probably the best cigar I've smoked in the past 3 years, easily.
I really enjoy that cigar. I haven't had one.
It's perfect.
In
the
a
new
while,
one.
I
Specifically
really
the new one.
Nice.
And Griff, they say you can't say Cuba Cuba, so sorry about that.
Yeah, Cuba would not be on the list, unfortunately, for those.
Not after they came out with Sweet James, baby.
Notable for me, Lirio Rojo 2022 was going to be my answer, but I won't copy him. I'm looking at my phone because I document the cigars I smoke.
I do the same thing. That's how I come up with my notable every week. Is I look at my pictures.
I was very, very impressed with Alec Bradley Double Broadleaf. Specifically in the Grand Corona size. I'm a massive Broadleaf fan, and to me, that cigar in that particular size, the Robusto, is phenomenal as well. But the Grand Corona is just an amazing cigar, and that would be my choice.
Excellent choice. Justin, what did you have this week?
I haven't had a lot with this whole sickness thing going on. I had a couple things, but the one that I had yesterday was a Terra Nova Dark Fired Kentucky.
Yeah, that one I like because
it was good.
Because
it was pretty good. I mean, my taste is off, but it was good for with the coffee.
Well, the reason I like that one is because sometimes the fire cured tobacco, it's too much.
Right.
That one's really subtle.
It's subtle, and it has good creaminess still too, almost like a Connecticut still, but it's got that little extra.
Yeah, it's subtle. They've dialed it way back. Yeah. But it's just enough where you get that kind of hickory campfire thing, but it's not too much. I like that. It's a good pick.
Justin, did you smoke the Casa Cuevas Sangre Nueva?
Yes.
Because it has a sliver of KFC in it.
It does. That was a little secret ingredient they were talking about.
Yeah. Yep. That one also, it's dialed back. It's just a little bit, so not too much.
Great cigar.
Mine was, so this is what I'm not sure about with this cigar. The Amazon Basin Añejo. So it's a new cigar, and it's supposed to be a new blend of the Amazon Basin. I'm just not too sure and I'm not calling them out on this. I'm just saying I'm not sure, because these cigars arrived in stores and the boxes are different than the old original Amazon Basin, but the cigars are in this cellophane that is deeply, deeply brown. And this is, I would think, okay, maybe it's just this one shop got some, too much humidity in their humidors. Nope, I've seen in multiple shops, these cigars have deeply colored cellophane. And I'm wondering, maybe these cigars, these Amazon Basin, are just left over from the first production run, and they've been in the aging room all this time. I doubt it, but I just don't know. But anyway, I smoked it within the last 10 days. And it really did remind me of, because I loved that first release of the Amazon Basin, like back in, I don't know, 2014 or 15, something like that. And I really enjoyed that. And it was a really nice cigar I had recently. So, man, if you need me to return the underwear borrowed and stretched out, page me. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
I'm scared.
Maybe we'll find out on TV.
I will have my people call your people, because that whole phrase scares me. And Yeah.
There's something he's not telling us.
Yeah, there's definitely something we don't know about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, that was this week's Notable Smokables, brought to us by Luciano Cigars, improving lives through fine cigars. Visit lucianocigars.com to learn more. So we have some coming attractions to let you guys know about here on How About That Cigar, and those are brought to us by AJ Fernandez. AJ Fernandez now produces unparalleled premium cigars in Esteli, Nicaragua. The AJ Fernandez portfolio of cigars provides blend, strength, and flavor profiles to match the preferences of any premium cigar consumer. Whether it's New World, Dios de Gloria, San Latano, Enclave, or Bellas Artes, you are sure to be satisfied with a premium cigar from AJ Fernandez. So, as we may have mentioned early in the show, if the weather cooperates, we will be at the TPE trade show this week.
Supposed to fly out on Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. We've gotten lucky before, so hopefully we'll get that break, and the tarmac will be clear, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for you guys.
If you see us there, then that's because the weather cooperated. If you don't, then sorry, we'll see you next time. And then following that, next Monday night on the 27th, we have none other than Mr. Jeff Borshowitz from Corona Cigar Company and Florida Sungrown Tobacco for another appearance on our show. Griff and Dave, if you guys would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything you guys have going on?
GriffandDave.com. At Griff and Dave. Google Griff and Dave. Perfect. At Griff and Dave and GriffandDave.com. We will soon have more cigars on our website for sale. We're playing catch up right now, which I guess is a good thing. In the next 2 months, you guys will see 2 or 3 more releases hit the site. And honestly, the biggest and best thing you can do is follow us on Instagram. That's what we update every day and let you guys know when new things are coming. That's just at Griff and Dave on Instagram.
Nice. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for being on the show tonight. We had a blast.
We can't thank you guys. This was awesome.
This was a lot of fun.
Can't wait to see you live. One of these days, probably at PCA this summer, if not sooner.
Yeah. Oh, we need to make a trip.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So, and if you guys are ever up in Minnesota, don't come to Minnesota now. I just mean when it's nice in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because when it's nice in Minnesota, it's really, really beautiful. But don't come here now. It's terrible.
Thank you guys so much. This was a blast. Really appreciate the support.
So much fun.
And enjoyed the conversation.
Absolutely. Loved it. Thanks so much. Viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook and YouTube. If you guys have questions for any of us, please email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Make sure to follow us on all social media at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.